Design thinking for startup? What about design thinking for entrepreneurship in the city? So I've tried to answer that question, which was not very easy, to be honest, and well, as good as I could in order to provide you maybe a couple of insights. Well, what is your big dream? When we are a startup, what is the big dream behind starting a startup? I'm trying just to, I think the answer is a little bit obvious. Well, we always try to create cool products, as Marc Giget would say, which is just in the bench. It's one of his big concepts, which is so inspiring for any kind of innovator, entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs. We always think that we could not create a perfume, but channel number 5, not create a watch, but to create the swatch. Not to, and it's no longer a city, it's Paris. And Paris is, of course, the enlightening city. So we always want to aim at creating a cool product which is going to sustain the growth of the company for many, many years. And this cool product will give birth to an industrial empire. So that, I think that's a big dream when you are an entrepreneur, no? Isn't it? So if we agree on what we have to achieve, now the big question is how. And how design thinking can help you to achieve that dream. Well, the problem in urban systems is urban systems. Urban systems are complex systems. Many stakeholders, so it means many different stakes, many technologies, many systems, many different constraints. And this kind of environment is one of the most difficult environments where we can create a startup or products or services. There are systems usually requiring a lot of money and a lot of time to be designed and to be implemented. And worst, they are integrated systems. So it means that they represent, whenever you want to innovate in the city, whenever you want to innovate for a urban system, well, you have to face the reality that it is super wicked problems. In French, we call them des problèmes super méchants. It means the more you're trying to analyze those kinds of problems, the less you understand them. And it's a big, big problem for the French entrepreneurs and the French people that we are, because usually when we are French, we are in the idea that we have to understand the problem before getting a solution, before doing a solution. Well, the problem is a linear approach for urban systems, and innovating for the city doesn't work. So we have to come up with a solution, whatever the solution is, a product, a service, a system. We have to implement it and see the result and how good it is for the global system. And this is where design thinking can help you, is how to aim straight and hit hot and quick in urban systems. So I'm going to try to develop this idea of straight and hit hot and quick. Well, the big, assumption that we have behind design thinking is to start with users. It's trying to design product, services, system, processes, starting with what the experience is for users at the end. Because in urban system or in the city, you're going to have a lot of different systems, and the only person who at the end of the day is going to live the experience through all the systems are, of course, the users. So if we don't start with the users first, we may not aim at all straight and even be beside the point in terms of final experience for users in the city. Let me give you a very simple example, which is not in the city, but which is in the most eco-efficient brand new building that has been built in the last 2 years. And in this absolutely incredible building, we have this switch off the light, off, on. It took us approximately 6 months to understand how to switch off a light and switch on a light. Is it user-centric? The architect told us that we have to learn how to switch off the light and switch on the light. Can you believe that you are in the most innovative building and you have to learn how to switch off the light? What is the result in terms of users? What are the consequences in terms of energy efficiency? Well, the people at night, because they want to leave and they don't want to spend 10 minutes to understand how to switch off the light, guess what they did? They let the light on. And the consequences in terms of energy consumption is the opposite of the symbol, the mission, and all the technology in that building. So my student working on a problem for a couple of months, and they have decided to put the 2 stickers, user-centric, how to switch off and on a light. Well, you can see with that picture that it was completely counterintuitive. The on is red, the off is blue. So see, even the light in this electrical switch off was reverse, counterproductive with the habit of users. If you design such a system, a small service, a small product, a big system, a small process or a big system, whatever, in the city, and you don't take into account the users and the experience, what you may come up with is the opposite of the expectation. So we don't have to throw all a new technology in the face of the users, and especially when we have huge systems, it's always a temptation to be technological push. We just have to take, if we want to get it very quick, very in the point, we have to take the user's experience first and then to bring the technology to make this new experience happen. At the moment, we are moving from product services to experiences, which is very important in what we do. Because why, and this is the challenge, this is the opportunity for all the startups, is any outsider which had the ability to create a brand new experience which was more simple, more fluid, more meaningful for people, have encountered a big new wave of growth. And this is the way the industry can renew itself. And this is the big opportunity if you do this, the job of getting it right, quick and hard. So how to make it happen with design thinking? A couple of insights in what we do. Well, is it something new? Well, you just have to explore it and you will see if it is for you or not. It comes from, so at the moment the dissemination of design thinking is definitely done by 2 people who have created the d.school at Stanford. So one who was the founder of a consulting company, IDEO, and the other one who was also an entrepreneur, the founder of SAP. They've joined the efforts and they have created the d.school to switch from the informal practice of the Silicon Valley to a formal discipline, transdiscipline, I would say, in many universities worldwide. Well, I guess that a lot of people know IDEO, and one of the things that we are trying to keep in mind in any kind of experience that we design, it has to be first desirable for people, not the switch off on completely counterintuitive, but it has also to be feasible right away with existing technologies and quickly implementable with a business that if you are a startup or a big company, depending, it has to be viable in terms of business very quickly. A couple of insights how it works. So design thinking is definitely a culture of exploration. It's not a culture of exploitation. We're not trying to rationalize things. We are going to trying to leverage on the power, the astonishing power of feelings. Because we want to innovate for people and with people, And we want to experiment as much as we can in order to succeed soon. So we want to feel what is valuable for people in terms of experiences. We want to do it, and therefore we are. So it's completely different from the French way, which is I think, therefore I am. It's more I feel, I do, and therefore I am. And this is a manifesto actually in everything that we do in terms of pedagogy. I was speaking this morning in front of 100 of Japanese directors of big institutions, and the idea to feel and do before thinking in higher education is not to be taken for granted. Fail early to succeed soon. It means that we want to experiment as much and as many times as possible in order to see if people want what we have designed or not, and to move to the next idea as quick as possible. This is a duty as academics. This is a duty also of, I would say, any CEO in the world, a startup or a big company, to put into place a condition for those people to innovate safely in this new culture of exploration, which is design thinking. And what we do all the time at the d.school and with companies is to try to stage the conditions in terms of people, place, process. Let me detail it. In terms of place, it's not that obvious to have a place which inspires exploration, not a place where everybody is going to be in a way that we are going to be as efficient as possible, but we want a place which is going to be as inspiring as possible, which is another manifesto. So this is the kind of place that we have in the studio, so trying to be connected